Just came home from watching The Conjuring last Rites. Don't believe the hype. Now, that doesn't mean the movie wasn't good. It was good. It was good. But it was just another Conjuring movie. It's the last one of the series. They're not going to make any more of these. This is the last Conjuring film. And I did appreciate a lot of things in it that was kind of cool, like some callbacks from the previous movies back in what they would mention, and certain characters even, so pleasant surprises that from the first two movies, especially maybe from the third. I don't remember them because that movie was so forgettable. It was ridiculous. But if I have to tell you that this movie was bad, I can't say that. It was good, but it wasn't. It was again one of those movies that was overhyped. I keep hearing all these crazy things. There are TikTok videos out there of priests, supposed priests, blessing people and giving them holy water before going to see the movie and stuff like that. Which I'm like, really? Is it that crazy? Another TikTok video of somebody becoming possessed while watching the film, and I'm like, you can't believe everything you watch. TikTok is just a heaping pile of digital bullshit. That's what it is. That's all it is. Because when I saw that movie tonight, I walked out of there like, I've seen worse. I've seen scarier. I've seen more trauma. I know this movie was rated R. I get it, but it was rated R for the silliest reasons. One curse word here, one thing there, but it's still a Conjuring movie. All right, let's get down to it. Um, it starts with their first case, Ed and Lorraine Warren. You see them when they were much younger. In fact, different actors play them. And she was pregnant with their daughter. You've seen the daughter in the other films. And you see how she gave birth to her and all that stuff is going on. And then it goes to the year 1986. Year 1986, you hear all the cool 80s, mid 80s music and stuff like that. Songs I was like singing along to. Those were the days. Then it starts to focus on one particular family in Pennsylvania, the Smurl family. This actually was a very recognized and publicized haunting that happened in the mid '80s. It started in the mid '70s and it went through the '80s. In reality, with this family, and in fact, they had made a movie about it that I saw back in 1991 on television. It was a made-for-television movie, and I remember seeing this and all that. And let me tell you something: they really took liberties in just using bits of the actual testimonies of the family that was experiencing these paranormal disturbances and applying it to this film. Because to be honest with you, I'm like, okay, fine. Hollywood strikes again. What can I say? Ed and Lorraine Warren, they had stopped doing investigations for quite a while, and they were content in that. But their daughter becoming engaged to this great guy, and since the daughter was also gifted, like Lorraine was, and stuff, she was also struggling and dealing with these visions, right? And then the priest from the other previous films was there to help them, also, and he remained close to them and everything. And some unfortunate setbacks take place in which ultimately drive them to go help this family deal with this oppression. It's a four spirits in the house. Three of them are human ghosts because they're there because they did terrible things and they died horrible deaths and all that. That whole story. And then the fourth spirit is a demon trying to use these ghosts to instill more fear and chaos in the family that was living there, the Smurl family. All right. So they come to their aid. The daughter comes along too. The fiance comes along too, and it becomes this huge fiasco. The demonic attachment seems to be centered on a mirror that Ed and Lorraine encounters in their first case back in 1964. Huh? And then it finds its way back into this house, to the Smurl family. Now, this mirror I don't think is mentioned in the actual case because I don't remember seeing it in that 1991 movie. So I think they put that in there for the sake of continuity regarding how the Warrens deal with their cases. They would dispel the demon and then they would take whatever object it was that had an attachment to it and put it in their little museum right next to the Annabelle doll. And that's what I think that's why they put that there because they needed something. They needed something. So the mirror was that something. The way it all, I liked the haunting aspect of it. I liked how it was. It had its creepy moments. It was kind of freaky. The audience did jump here and there, but it wasn't as creepy and as disturbing and as scary as they were saying they were. As a matter of fact, I was even hearing this absurd thing about the last 20 minutes of the film are callbacks to The Exorcist, and I couldn't find one damn thing. What are you talking about? What was a callback to The Exorcist? What was it? Because I couldn't find it. It wasn't there. So I think that was just another thing they were saying to put more butts in the seat to get more money. The story was good. It wasn't bad, but it was just another Conjuring movie. Okay, the first two films were better by far. The last one was all right, but it wasn't the best. In fact, this one I think was better than the last one, but it wasn't as good as the first two. That's my opinion on it. I'm gonna give The Conjuring Last Rites 3 coffee cups. It was a good send off. They brought back James Wan. You see, you see him briefly in the movie itself as a cameo, as well as other, like I said earlier, past characters in the franchise in this film for a big celebration. So I thought that was nice. I thought that was a good way to end it. And one thing I did not like, though, and I may have given this movie 3 coffee cups, but one thing about continuity that kind of bothered me here was that the Warrens always would look for the name of the demon that would help expel it, which is in the part of the Roman ritual in the Roman Catholic Church. So they did that in the other movies. In this one, they didn't do that. So I was kind of like, what's the name of this thing? Don't know. So there went that. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Again, you need some continuity. If you're gonna have something with continuity in it, you make sure you cover all bases. And I think they dropped the ball on that part. Also, the son-in-law plays an important role in this movie as well. He has his own story to tell. He has his own thing in which he really helps the Warrens, and he becomes very close to them. And that's kind of like in real life because that's what he in real life he became one of the stewards of the Warren Museum. Before they passed away. So, he's the one that kind of takes care of all those items that are there. I would look that up to do more research on it if you wish. But if you haven't seen The Conjuring: The Last Rites, talk to me after seeing it and let me know what you think of this movie. Again, good movie, not the scariest thing. People have been talking about this all year. I finally got to see it. It is what it is. It was a good Conjuring movie, but it wasn't anything to scream about. Literally, sure there was a couple of jumps, but that's about it. So there we are. We're still not done with 2025. Let's see what other horror movies come out between now and the end, huh? We'll see. Until then, just let me know what you think. Consider subscribing. Tap on that bell for future notifications for future horror and coffee content. Until next time, Ralph Perez, Horror and Coffee. Take care.